Mr. Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The statement was made in regards to the incarceration, the housing situation on Hearn Avenue is overwhelmingly impacted. What is the normality turnaround time on prosecutorial? How long does a person have to sit out there before they're brought through the system? That's first part.
Okay.
Second part, with the conditions of our parish area. I've seen it in other states. I've seen it in Linwood, I've seen it in Minnesota. I see it every now and then in Caddo. We have people sitting there playing ping pong, pool, watching TV, lying on beds of ease, and our parish is in dire straits of cleanup. I hate to use the word diversion. I hate to use the word transparency. Our parish needs help. You, Mr. Lester said, you may not be the man. We need somebody that's going to take Caddo Parish at heart, not the office. I keep hearing you use the word prosecution. I heard you say on the very front side, we have no problem putting the clerk away from now on. That scares me as a black man, because our incarceration rate is so high among us. Those are my questions. Those are my concerns.
Yes.
This is me speaking.
Yes, sir. So if I can address your first question is, how quick does an individual get through the system from arrest to the court date? Is that correct? So they're not just languishing at CCC while the prosecution is taking their sweet time to get to court. Is that a fair address of your question? There are time delays built into the code of procedure that prevent incidents like that. We have a certain amount of period to get an individual to court. One of the things I want to change with the district attorney's office is to do a charge conference. And the way charge conference works is that the prosecutors get with their entire section the week before court starts to review arrests and pending cases, to make a determination of what are we going to prosecute and what are we not going to prosecute. So if there's a case where an individual has been arrested that weekend because he's the backseat driver in a stolen car and he's sitting at CCC, that's a decision that we could probably make on that Monday morning to say, we can't prove the case against him, cut that, send the dismissal over, he's out. Now, we got this armed robbery case, this individual held up a Circle K and shot his gun off. Devote your resources to that case. We've investigated, we can prove it beyond reasonable doubt. If you have a good charge conference system, then you don't have a situation where DAs are just sitting on their case files and the files are building up, and then it's easy to say, well, I haven't looked at this file and I know he's in jail, but we're just going to get another court date to give you time to look at the case. The charge conference addresses the case that week to say, do you have your victim? Do you have the evidence to prove it beyond reasonable doubt? Because if you don't, get rid of it, because we can't just stack up the system and keep people in jail because we're lazy. Okay, my administration is going to have that immediate review to where if we have the case, we go forward. If we don't have the case, we get rid of it. No one's going to languish in jail unnecessarily under my watch. The second poll on questions about incarceration and the statement that will go on forever, that's in reference to violent criminals. And I've seen this from my experience, and I speak from the heart of this, that I've seen some individuals that have committed the worst of the worst crimes against humanity. And for our protection, when I say ours, the community, they need to be incarcerated. They may need to be incarcerated the rest of their life. There's that much of a danger to the parish. But I can say this as well too. I understand what it is to send someone to jail. And I've seen some of my colleagues that have had the ego and testosterone to say, I've got the facts and evidence, and just because I say so, you're going to eat a felony today. Or just because I have the ego and testosterone and facts, he's going to serve 20 years today, instead of, looking at it in a reasonable fashion. And then that handicaps the defense lawyer and handicaps the system. And that's not the right thing to do. That's playing with numbers at that point. And that's playing with power. And that's playing with people's lives. I've seen the criminal justice system from experience as a prosecutor. I've had a family member go through the criminal justice system and serve jail time. So I know what it's like for an individual to go to jail and how serious that is. I know when you send someone to jail for 10 years, they're losing a decade of the only life you have on earth. So none of that is lost on me. Whenever I look at a case to come up with a meaningful sentence, it is with that consideration of, does this sentence fit the facts and what the individual did? It's not just I am playing with this person's life because I have the ego to do it. That is not what the district attorney's office is about. I've never had that temperament, and I encourage you to ask criminal defense lawyers, have I ever practiced in that way, or have I ever had that temperament? I can give one good example of that, sir. I hope it clarifies it. I had an individual on my docket years back, and he had about 15 felonies. I kid you not, just a career habitual criminal offender. He was in my courtroom for felony theft. He had stolen $150 of stuff out of Walmart, and I had him. He had a confession. I had items. I had it. And if I had prosecuted him to the fullest extent of my power, he could have served 20 years to life based on his prior record for stealing $120 out of Walmart. So I took it upon myself to get a little scared, say, I'm going to take you to trial. You're facing this. I really want you to see the light in what you're doing. You're not a good criminal. We took him to trial, and he was convicted. And I had him to where I could have multi-billed him for 20 to life. And I chose at the end of the day not to. I used my prosecutorial discretion to say, I've gotten your attention, but I know what it's like and how important it is to say, I'm now taking 20 years of your life away from you for this offense. The sentence didn't match up to the crime. So I encourage you, sir, I've gotten your attention. Please don't come back. That case is State of Louisiana versus Kenny Smith, if you want to look it up. But of course, Kenny Smith, a month later, was back in the system for burglarizing the house. And then,
Take him out.
At that point, you've got to address the individual to protect the community. But that is just one example where I say, look, this is not a game. This is not you're playing. You don't want to play with people's lives. You want to craft meaningful sentences and make the system work. And that's my response. That's my philosophy. That's what I'm going to train my assistant DAs to do, to say, when you propose a sentence to the court, you make sure that the sentence comports with what the individual did in this criminal record. That is my pledge, sir. Yes, sir, I am.
We all know that prosecutors have this additional job. But what specifically is a major part of the job that you're working
There's a twofold part of your job. One is administrative, where you govern your office, you set the policy, you train the assistants, you manage the budget, you manage the policy, you go to Baton Rouge if there's legislation that needs to be done. You are the face of the community. You're out there reaching out to people. That's the administrative part of the job. The second part of the job is being a prosecutor. And there's some DAs that just stick to the administrative part. There's some DAs that incorporate both administrative and the prosecution part of the job. I will do that. I will be a prosecutor as well as an administrator. And I want to be a prosecutor till the day I die. I want to seek justice for individuals till the day I die. I will pledge to try cases, not only just good cherry-picked cases like that they usually accuse the DA of doing. I would like to try cases with misdemeanor assistants, the young felony assistants, to show them this is the proper professional way to try a case. Now you've seen it, now I can cut you loose. This is the manner in which I want you to be a respectful, professional, good prosecutor.
Okay, that's the position you're running for in the law and the rules and what you administrate. You mentioned about rehabilitation. Your job is not rehabilitation. Correct the laws and violation of the laws, and to prosecute those in violation of the law. When people come out of correctional institutions, Department of Corrections, your office is not involved in the infrastructure to where they would have private industry to help these men that's coming out of prison to acquire employment, to acquire jobs. And I was wondering if the district attorney's office would have anything to do with that, to encourage private industry to hire convicts when they get out. Because I had violated the law in California. If I had had my parole officer back in the 1960s, you know, I'm saying this now because not too many black men that don't have a criminal record. One way or the other, going to find some kind of way to have a criminal record. I'm saying that my life is complete right now, you know. But what I'm saying is that it needs some assistance for those people coming out. Because as soon as they come out, even before you commit a crime, as Calvin Lester said, if you're black, you look at it as a potential criminal, somebody got to be watched. And if somebody could constantly put you in that category, you feel like, well, why should I respect the law? Why should I go along with it when I'm not really getting no help in the first place? And this law is really important for the correctional department, even the prosecutors, to make sure these people don't come back, not for the threat of doing more time, but to make sure that they get some kind of help. You know, because, you know, when you read the black men, we read where 3 men done 40 years of solitary confinement for something they wasn't proven they killed a guard. In other instances where black men have all over the country where these things have happened. So it makes us lose trust and faith and confidence in the legal system. And we're all in this together. If we're in the same country, we're in this together. And if we're not giving assistance some kind of way, you're going to create a criminal society by not helping those who need help. Because the culture that's out here right now is negative. People don't trust the police department, they don't trust politicians. They see corruption everywhere. So it's not just the ones out in criminal records that you down about their integrity. It's also the elected officials. So this is what needs to be done. To me, I mean, I see where the people that's coming out of these institutions need help. Because when you go inside, you're being punished. You're not being taught anything. If you was a damn fool going in, you're going to be a criminal coming out. Because that's what's there. There's nothing being taught. And I just want to know if this attorney's office has anything to do with that type of rehabilitation.
And you said that we don't have anything to do with rehabilitation. I respectfully disagree because to the extent that we can provide restitution to the victims to allow the defendant to say you made a mistake. You stole from Walmart, okay, and you admitted your mistake. But we're not going to put a felony on you. You need to make restitution, okay? Or if you stole from a small business, you need to go to that owner. You need to say, hey, I'll come help one day, I'll volunteer, or I'll help pay back that money so I can repay my debt and not get involved in the criminal justice system. That's where the district attorney's office can help in those type of cases. Your second question dealt with whether or not we as a district attorney's office can help with a job creation or any type of legislation that can assist individuals coming out of the criminal justice system to get jobs. To the extent that that doesn't really fall within our job duties, we can nonetheless use the power and the credentials of the district attorney's office to work with my good friend Boyce Clark if he's elected, or if Mr. Benson is elected. We can get together and say, whatever I can do to help with that process, if I can serve on the committee to make it happen with you, to propose legislation to get this going to where businesses have incentives to hire individuals out of the criminal justice system, because I truly believe in this country experience as a prosecutor that if we can put individuals back to work, you're going to lower the crime rate. You're going to integrate them back into society, and that's going to be better for everybody. That's going to be better for me, you, the whole community. If everybody's working and doing well, and they're staying out of the system. So to the extent that I can pledge my support to those efforts, I will, because that's part of my vision. That's part of the solution I see to the problem.
Absolutely.
So,
You have some geniuses, you have some young people who made some horrible decisions and mistakes.
I agree. I was a young man.
There are a lot of them, and they will be developed and use a genius in a positive way instead of becoming a career criminal or using intelligence.
Absolutely.
And
Commissioner, I have two questions. I just kind of address before we get we talked about the diversion program. There are a lot of different programs out there, and you're talking about doing something a little different. How do we look at in a Caddo Parish, kind of having some kind of standard of common thread in different programs? I know the city court has a program, juvenile court has a program they try to do with deals with face-to-face deals, and they kind of run the gamut all the time to work with solve. They're a way that, since the district attorney kind of be pretty powerful in that area to kind of work with those different groups to kind of make sure they have a couple of different basic steps that they're doing the same thing and getting the right result for what they should have. Second question, if you just address the relationship between the district attorney's office and the Shreveport police and maybe the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office from the standpoint of maybe how you think it should be. I know in the past, I've seen some criticism kind of come from the Sheriff's Department about the district attorney, some decisions they were made on some cases.
Sure.
And just kind of talk a little bit about that, and I'm not criticizing Judge Scott what happened, back then, but just at a higher plane, what's happening today, how the relationships work, and how, if you're elected, you can see need for improvement down the road.
Sure.
Between those instances. Thank you.
Sure. The first part deals with the diversion, how to make that more consistent across the board, not only for the district attorney's office, but the city court, and wherever else the diversion can be applicable. I believe that the program that I'm pitching forward to you as far as increasing the faith-based initiative, to increase or bring in business owners that are willing to participate in our diversion program and hire individuals, to increase the domestic violence shelters through the diversion program, to help people out. I believe that we can create that model and propose that to the city court administrators. We'll make a model for this parish, if nothing else. So that is my approach to meet with the city administrator and say, this is our vision for our diversion program. Let's give it a model test run. If it works, let's incorporate it so the criminal defense bar throughout the whole parish has a consistent model. They know that the district attorney's model for job incorporation and getting individuals working for them is the same system that will be in place if they have a young man or lady at city court. And then that way you don't have different systems. That's the way that I want to tackle that, is by meeting with the city court administrator, meeting with the judges, meeting with the city prosecutor to make sure that we can mesh a good program. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I have the best program. They got to listen and do what I say. I like to hear what they have to say. I like to hear what the community and faith-based leaders have to say to make that diversion a model program for Caddo Parish, hopefully for the whole state. So that's the first part of your question. The second part deals with the relationships between the sheriff's office, the police department, and the district attorney's office. I've seen the issues that have cropped up in the past between the district attorney's office and the sheriff's office. My philosophy about the sheriff's office is that is the investigative agency of the parish, and they are tasked with duties that involve investigating crime and bringing the cases to us for prosecution. Our job is to be a lawyer of the parish. We're not police officers. Mm-hmm. We don't execute search warrants. We don't do police officer duties. We are the lawyers of the parish. We're going to be expected to act like lawyers, and that's what's going to happen in my administration. We're going to wear suits and ties. We're going to be at the office during normal office hours. We're going to answer the telephone. We're going to respond to written motions. And we're going to do legal work. We're not going to be on search warrants for numerous liability, public perception issues. I believe that creates some conflict between the two offices. I have a red line there, and the sheriff knows my position on that. The chief of police knows my position on that. That I believe creates the best relationship between law enforcement and the district attorney's office when you have those set duties. I also believe that it's important to have that long-standing relationship with officers, which I've developed over my 10 years of prosecuting. They know that I'm going to be honest and straightforward. If a cop steps out of line, they know to address it. But I will be transparent and accessible so they know that's why he made the decision he did. I believe if you have that relationship with law enforcement, then you work in better harmony with them, and you don't have the issues that cropped up during the prior administration. So I hope that answers the question.
Very
sir.
Good morning, how are you?
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being among my austere and beautiful comrades, my ancestors. I've been gone a series of decades. I've known some good days. I stand before you erect and focused because of him and what I learned in Avondale. I am the good part of me because of that community. I've been gone far. I'm home now to work hard. I'm here to work. My question to you, as I say all these things, is that today I see in you, I see a man who's honest, I don't believe. Your body language is listening, your ears are open, you are tangible. You are here, you're focused, you're in this room. My belief is that I grew up in the church and I've seen that before. My question to you today is not a generality. I come to as humbly as respectfully as I can, but not a generality. How can we maintain that accessibility once you are in that office? No, he said when answer call, but not a generality. What will you do concretely so that my people can get to you and you can hear their voice? Concrete.
Well, when you say what about the concrete, the way I take that, or the way I think is the best solution to that, is to come to meetings like this on a regular basis, to go into the community. And I'm not saying I'm going to go to a political event. I'm saying bring me to a lunch somewhere. Bring me where I can meet your neighbors, not where there's media and fanfare, where I can talk one-on-one on an individual basis, where I can go to a barber shop or a luncheon or a church or anywhere that's not just I'm there because it's a ribbon cutting ceremony. I believe that that's a concrete way that the district attorney can reach out to everyone in the community to actually be there, to come to the town meetings where we can have a discussion without the formalities of you're in my office or, I mean, of course you can come to my office, but I want to come as well to the community because if the community sees the district attorney there, they know he cares, and that makes our jobs easier because then there's that trust that's in place.
So you said before my fathers, my brothers, and my sisters, that once you are the DA, we can call you to town meetings and you will come. Once you're the DA, that you will not bow down to the rhetoric of I'm extremely busy. I'm a busy man. We can get busy, but you will not hide beyond that beneath. The number one, who in your office is it too much to ask you? Can we have someone in your office who knows why we're calling you and won't give us the runaround? Because I've seen the runaround. And the runaround is why we're here today, because we all been running around. I'm a keen young reader. And one thing that he taught is you take the genius from everybody. If you are called to mop the floors, you mop the floors like the Vinci did the Sistine Chapel. I believe that. So we have to maintain communication. I'm asking you, will you put something in place that these people need to hear from me, and this will get back to us. Sometimes I know you need to get it over the office. I understand that. But it cannot be a culture contingent. That's what I'm asking.
Correct. You know, I practice it in my civil practice because I've learned that if you don't return phone calls, if you don't interact, you're not going to get any business. The philosophy is no different in public life. If you don't interact, if you don't get out there in the community and meet people so they believe in you, that they see you're transparent and you're accessible, you're not going to last long in office, they'll put you out, but B, you're not going to have the ability to handle really tough situations. If we have a situation like, there was in Baltimore, Ferguson, you're going to need all the leaders to come together to quell violence and to quell any issues in the parish. And you can't have that with a district attorney that's just in his community. Because then the faith-based leaders and the community activists and other parts of their community are going to say, I don't have access to this guy, and I don't think he's going to make the right decision in this instance. And that's going to cause more unrest. If you're in every part of the community and you're with the leaders constantly, and you're meeting with them, and they feel that it's genuine, it's not just I'm there because there's cameras here, where we're going to get some publicity. If you're there at the town hall meetings, if you're there at the coffee shops, if you're there eating lunch, and meeting on a regular basis, and making yourself accessible, if you have a bad situation in the parish, you can deal with it, and you can keep the violence down because they know that he's going to listen, he's going to be accessible. I have a relationship with him, and it's not just superficial. I know him. I can pick up the phone and call him, and he'll hear my concern. Now, I may not agree with his decision at the end of the day, but I know how he reached that decision because he showed me, and he heard my concerns. And I truly believe that if you take that position, that you can handle any bad situation in the parish and keep everyone safe. That's why it's important. That's why you're going to have my concrete pledge that if I'm fortunate enough to be elected, I will be in every part of the community for those reasons.
Good morning.